Yo, welcome to the channel. Today we're drawing Gallade dressed as Zoro. We're starting today with very basic shapes. You see here, I'm literally a circle, rectangle, oval, rectangle for the legs. I go in with this very basic shapes first, get the proportions right, get the placement right, and the composition before I get into any kind of detail. Really don't want to spend much time here. Right, so that way, and you're drawing super light. So if you make any mistakes, very easy, very quick to go. Right, so for like Gallade's, like the bottom of his legs are kind of like a curved rectangle. Right, so we're kind of bending the shapes, playing with it. His sword arms kind of come to this little point. So you got the oval. Then I start positioning the head, drawing kind of like some god lines in the middle, line down the middle for the center line, line across for where his eyes are gonna go. Right, and the sides are just triangles. Don't overcomplicate it. Look for the most basic shape that that body part resembles and go from there. Then of course you can always bend it, extrude it, whatever you gotta do. And so now we're going with some detail, still drawing pretty light here. Just placing some of the smaller things, right, like the eyes. I'm gonna start drawing the jacket now on top of the body, right? So I kind of placed the arms first. And the outfit we're going for here is Zoro's Egghead Island arc outfit. Thought it was cool with the kind of like the, how do you call it? High cut, puffy jacket. And with the tights and the way the boots are shaped for the Egghead outfits, I thought it really already resemble Gallade's legs. So I thought it was just like the perfect outfit to go for this drawing. Alright, once I'm pretty happy with the placement, then I'm going to start coming in, pressing in a little darker, moving the pencil, holding it closer to the tip. When I start out, I usually hold the pencil pretty far out, like from the back end, or even like an overhand grip, just to help keep the lines light. And even here, like it looks harder, but it's still easy to fix at this stage. Because right here, it's all pencil, so any mistakes you make is always fixable. You don't need to scrap the drawing and start over again. And then like so here, I wasn't satisfied with the eye. I wanted it to make it a little bigger. We erased it and do it again. Sometimes what I do too is before erasing the old line is draw the new line so you don't make the same mistake twice and you know what you're looking for and what you want to adjust exactly. I'm just coming in with the little details for the zippers. Right, he's got these little shoulder straps in. Actually, at this stage of the drawing, totally forgot about the swords, so I'll go in and do those later. But at least the swords, how Zoro has it in this outfit, it kind of goes across the back, so it's not really overlapping with anything or it's going to interfere in the drawing, so I kind of got lucky there. I wasn't sure if I wanted to include Zoro's bandana. I kind of omitted that. Right. How am I going to put that on Gallade with his mohawk thing? Just some minor details. And we'll do a lot more when we come in for the color. So then here I'm going to come in with the fine liners, using a real thin 0.2 fine liner. Trying to trace my work, even then I still... First line I messed up, but that's okay because I feel like with the coloring we can kind of hide some mistakes, or we can pivot and still make it work. Even here, like I didn't get it straight down the middle. I was just kind of like, I'll just darken this part a little bit, but maybe with some shading and some rendering, we can fix it. I'm leaving a lot of the work and the detail for the coloring. So here we're going in, trying to keep the lines as smooth as possible. Good tip here is to move somewhat fast. You don't want to stay in one spot, right? Kind of having that line confidence, right? And it's not just speed draw, it's still moving relatively slow. I mean, obviously the drawing is sped up for you guys, so this video isn't 3 hours like what it took me to make this. But you want to keep it smooth as possible. Be confident where you're placing your lines. Even if you mess up, it's okay. We can fix it, can adjust, try to incorporate it into the drawing. Also, you don't want to stay in one place for too long with the markers. With fine liners, it's not too bad with the bleeding, but other markers can bleed. So if you're in one spot for too long, you'll put out too much ink on the paper and you won't get that crispy line. Also, especially if you're trying to draw straight lines, really like faster you can go, the better, the more straight it'll turn out. So now here we're gonna get ready for color. What I did was I had a kneaded eraser and I actually erased all my pencil marks. It's kind of optional. Some people lighten it up before outlining. I like to do it afterwards. Or maybe I'll try it the other way another time. Now here we're coming in with the alcohol markers. So what I did first was started with my lightest shade and put kind of like a base coat, and then come in with the darker shades on top. So this will kind of help it blend better. Once the paper is already wet, markers blend best when they're still wet. You can come back later, try to adjust it, but it comes out a lot smoother. And a good tip too for it to come out less splotchy is either one, you can do multiple coats, or when you're coloring initially, go very slow. And what I mean by that is going over the same spot over and over until you really like soak the paper almost and get all the color in there, so when it dries it doesn't look all doesn't look all splotchy, and some parts are darker than others, or you can see the brush strokes. So here I kind of broke it down one color at a time. For the most part, I'm using 2 to 3 shades of a color. I start with the lightest, work my way to the darkest to get my values in, get my shadows in that way. Another way you could do it too, so what I'm doing here is just blurring the highlights first, and then I'll come in with the darker markers around it. Just because I already know the jacket was going to be pretty dark, so I didn't really need the extra coats. And we're trying to keep the shadowing consistent with our light source. So just kind of imagine, where do you want the light to be coming from? So we're not just throwing in random shadows. So for this drawing, I didn't have too many references to go off of. Obviously, this is Zoro's outfit, Zoro's pose. But, there's not really like a lot of images of Gallade like straight on. He's always like at an angle. So it's always kind of weird. Like, I didn't realize Gallade had a mouth until I looked at like a whole bunch of pictures of him. But something else I tried here was I put the gray tones down first and then put the colors on top. That's something else you could do if you're kind of limited on color options. If you have a couple of gray tones, you can put down the grays, or you can do it vice versa. Put down your color, do the shading with the grays. I feel like it looks more realistic and lifelike if you're using different tones of like that same color, but it's not always an option, or you don't have the right color. See, so here I did the swords. Finally, I put them in, went in with a gold acrylic marker, get those highlights in, and now we're just kind of drawing Zoro's hockey. Really just putting random lines on the paper. I'm trying to keep it more wavy the Zoro's Haki has more of a cool aura to it, where Luffy's is more like lightning. Then we're just coming in with the purple marker on top. Final touches with the white acrylic marker. And then get in some of the highlights. I don't know if, think that's cheating or not, or if you want to use, just don't color in those areas when you're first coloring it in. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.